Hello there, my name is Nadine Whiteside and this is a media presentation for Assignment 2 of EDC1200. This is a presentation that addresses the question, how might education mediate difference and dominance? Part 1, the issue. Gay Cairns Dads in Bid for Surrogate Babies, written by Gavin King on Saturday, September 11th, 2010. The article states that a gay couple in Cairns are so desperate to have children that they are paying two women in India $300 for every day of the pregnancy to give birth to the couple's surrogate babies. The article goes on to read that the money paid by the Cairns couple will be equivalent to more than 10 years' wages for each of the women. Before the reform, Queensland was the only state where altruistic surrogacy was a criminal offence, attracting a $10,000 fine or 3 years jail. Commercial surrogacy is still illegal in all states. India and the US are the two most popular destinations for commercial surrogacy, where contracts for pregnancy are legal and widespread. The reason for choice in topic was the enormous outburst of public opinion surrounding this article. In total, 99 comments were sent to the paper. It was evident to me that many who commented on this article were very uneducated when it came to same-sex couple laws and legislation. 18 people were extremely against same-sex relationships. 3 people were left unsure. 11 people were against surrogacy and labelled it human trafficking. 8 people believed that only a man and woman could raise a well-adjusted child. 7 people were angry that the gays didn't adopt, and 12 stated that surely if you choose to be gay, you must never have the urge to have children. But, surprisingly, 39 people were in strong agreement and support for the couple and showed a strong front of social acceptance. You might be wondering how this topic touches on the notions of difference in society. I feel this topic is a strong advocate to promoting difference and diversity. By educating students and delivering them the facts, it will enable them to view difference as not deficit, but just different, to develop a factual understanding of what we are not, and therefore not making judgment. Students will learn about a different and unique community identity and be asked to accept different community identities that are diverse, to engage in social interactions and social acceptance, which therefore will lead to learning about otherness, to understand otherness, to conduct an anti-discriminatory observation in which we engage as equals instead of labelling and demonising the non-minority group, the other. Part 2, the event as a curriculum. The age group that I have chosen to teach this topic is Year 7. I believe that by the time the students are at this age, they are beginning to understand their own axes of identities, as well as knowledge of what is discrimination and difference. This is a time in their lives where these young adults are experiencing storm and stress, where fitting in is crucial. And this is also a time when many of these students will be beginning to develop and experiment with self, their limits, and their sexualities. The ideas that I have chosen to teach this topic incorporate an in-depth knowledge of the following titles: surrogacy in depth, different family makeups, anti-discriminatory laws, and media influence. Students will be taught what is surrogacy, who is it available to, and what countries is it legal in. I would then engage the students in a class discussion about what they know about surrogacy and discuss for and against without discrimination. Who should surrogacy be available to and why? As well as this, I find it would be beneficial to invite the surrogate mother to come and share with the students why she has chosen to be a surrogate mother. I would then go on to talk about many different family groups that are evident in Australia in the 21st century. Some examples we would talk about would be same-sex parents, mum and dad, foster parents, single parents, and grandparents. I would ask the students to talk about the different family groups and ask them to take note of the diversity and maybe which group they belong to. I hope this activity would show students that there is no perfect family and all of these family makeups can provide a stable, nurturing, and very loving environment. One extremely important aspect to teach about this event would be anti-discrimination, and that everyone in Australia, no matter what sexuality or nationality, should not be discriminated or demonised. I would show students that alone we can work to fight against unlawful discrimination. then show students the many places that same-sex couples still face discrimination in Australia today, including work, school or college, in a shop or restaurant, looking for accommodation, buying property, applying for credit, insurance, or dealing with tradespeople, as well as our businesses and state and local government. Then, last but not least, I would show students a series of ads and ask them to explain what they see and what is not portrayed in them. Do they see single parents in the ads? Do they ever see same-sex families in the ads? And why not? This will show students that media is a huge influence on how we conduct ourselves. Students could then choose an ad and in groups change the characters and self-perceptions that they then add characters that would appeal to all Australians. How will this assist learners in deepening their understanding of difference and community identities? By teaching students these valuable lessons, it will give them a greater understanding of discrimination and otherness, ways in which we can live together as a better community, to accept difference and diversity in all aspects of life, to take an interest in same-sex families and to accept them without prejudice, to have a greater knowledge of the facts about same-sex couples and surrogacy within the Australian culture, and to embrace change and understand what this will mean for our future within schools, home, the community and workplace. And, very importantly, to have questionable attitudes that will accept change in the community and not discriminate against something that may seem different. I especially love the quote from Harry Truman when he states that we must have strong minds ready to accept facts as they are rather than how we would like them to be. This is the thought of the day that I would hope students would walk away with. Students will recognise the fundamentals of identity transformation as well as resistance identity and why people who are outcasted fight for rights they deserve. In the past, legitimising identity, same-sex couples were belittled, social norms and expectations of men and women were to be in heterosexual relationships and children were unthought of in same-sex relationships. Fighting back, resistance identity. Same-sex couples rally for same rights and legislation as heterosexual couples, resisting social norms. Where we are today, project identity, new gender roles for same-sex couples, surrogacy is legal overseas for same-sex couples, same-sex couples can now be married in overseas countries. Students will understand that social actions have devalued and stigmatised same-sex couples, but they have fought back for survival and for principle. What potential does this event hold for critical engagement of various identity locations and senses of self? This will promote new growth of social interaction and social acceptance. Students will appreciate diversity and unlike elements inhabiting a particular space. They will be able to give clear expectations for sexual identities, that gender is not the same as sexuality. Students will have a perception of laws, accepted behaviours and moral codes, as well as engaging in the axes of identities and have a better understanding of where they are within their own identities. How might this event work towards being a transformative educator? By overcoming disadvantage and marginalisations of some groups within your classroom and community. By teaching this event, I hope to create a classroom which includes diversity and difference, has non-biased dispositions, is a safe environment to flourish, a setting to comment on the positive and negatives, to build hope, to show understanding and acceptance, to disvalue prejudice, to be supportive and nurturing, to encourage students to, very importantly, be themselves, to always conduct myself in a positive manner, to value and to be open-minded to students' religious views, and most importantly, to be a transformative intellectual whose values will mediate to my students and therefore to the community. How will this event help me to reduce discrimination in the community? By understanding things that we are not, students will begin to appreciate that difference is just different and that there is nothing wrong with it. This topic encourages rethinking and re-evaluating what is embedded in our conscious and teaches students that they don't have to agree, but also not to demonize, deride, or insult. Students will feel enlightened to be themselves in our very diverse society with many community identities. Students will hopefully walk away with tolerance and acceptance and a new outlook on what is discrimination and how to accept difference. I hope that by teaching this topic, students will understand that the appreciation of diversity and the ability to live is the ability to exercise a fair and objective attitude towards those whose opinions, practices, religions, nationality, and so on differ from one's own.